Hi, I'm John Bermingham with the Board of Supervisors in Upper Mount Bethel Township with Dr. Raso. Thank you, Doctor.
Good afternoon.
Doctor, can you give us the latest numbers on the coronavirus cases in Northampton County and in particular Upper Mount Bethel?
Well, right now we have 25,767 cases. We've had 651 deaths in the county. In Bangor, we have 970. Penargil, 368, and here in Mount Bethel, we have 190. So clearly, in the last 2 weeks, we've had about 500 more cases a week, totally in the Northampton County, so I think it is slowing down.
Good. Good. Doc, many states are beginning to announce those who are next in line to receive the vaccine. The first round, according to just about every state, went to healthcare workers, first responders, nursing home residents, those 65 and older, and people with certain medical conditions. There's now a federal directive to vaccinate teachers, and Governor Wolf said that this week the Johnson & Johnson's vaccine will go to our teachers. Why the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, and anyone else beside teachers and school employees do you believe should get the vaccine next?
Well, I think definitely for school employees and teachers, because clearly, the teachers are very fearful of working with the kids, and we know kids can all go back to school, K through 12, without any serious problems. They don't transmit a lot. However, just to keep them safe, they should get the Johnson & Johnson. It's about 72% effective, but it covers all the different variations of the coronavirus. So, I mean, honestly, if I'm buying it, that's the one I'm buying.
Okay. How many different vaccines do we currently have out there, and have you heard any side effects from the current vaccines?
Well, we have 3 major vaccines here in our country. We have 4 totally in the world, plus whatever one the Chinese people have and the Russian people have. Those aren't available commercially to the rest of the world, as far as I know. AstraZeneca is the one being used throughout Europe, which is kind of similar to our first 2 mRNA vaccines, which are Moderna and the Pfizer. What I find is, what I hear anecdotally is most people on the second shot of either of those agents will have a reaction where they feel like they have the sickness, they have muscle aches, they have low-grade fevers. They generally feel kind of lousy for a few days. And other people, I met a 90-year-old today who had his second shot, and he's German, and he says, "I don't feel nothing." I said, I said, "Good for you." So it depends on who you are. I mean, it's not everybody who's going to get a symptom like that.
Okay, thanks, Doc. Doc, when do you believe states should fully reopen bars, restaurants, live events, and theater to full capacity?
I would say if it's true we can get 100 million doses of the Johnson & Johnson plus the 100 million doses of the Moderna and Pfizer in by the end of May, I think we should open up, because there's enough people who've already had the disease and enough people who have been vaccinated. And that'll account for at least 2/3 of the United States have had some type of, either they had the disease or they have been inoculated.
Okay. Doc, is natural immunity from COVID-19 disease better than having immunity from the vaccine?
Well, like anything organic, it's always better to have your own. However, some people, as you get older, you get a weaker immune response. And we know that because, ask any older American who's had the shingles, and their immunity has gone down and they get the virus back. So clearly, I mean, if you've never been exposed to it, it's great to just get the vaccination. We look at the statistics. 95% of the first 2 shots will become very well, have a lot of antibodies, and Johnson & Johnson is about 72.
Okay. Doc, you've had the coronavirus. How is it different from getting the flu? Is there a difference?
The flu is like a Mack truck hitting you and then driving away and you're still standing. The coronavirus was more like a serious lung infection that really knocked the daylights out of me. Because I've had both, and I can tell you, I felt a lot worse with the coronavirus.
And how are you feeling today?
I feel great.
Good.
Thank you.
Good. if you can explain, and I know you did this a while ago at one of our interviews, but if you could please explain what herd immunity is, and do you think we'll reach herd immunity by this summer?
Herd immunity is where we have at least 60% of all population has been exposed to or has been vaccinated. And clearly, I think we're getting there. So
Great.
I'm very happy about that.
Great. I have some resident questions here. First resident question is, how good are these vaccines? Why should I get a Johnson & Johnson vaccine if the numbers don't seem as good as the others?
Well, the difference is one's a single dose instead of 2 doses. 2, I'd say if you're a younger person, you already have a pretty good immune system. So I think that's better for younger people. And the ability that we can get a mass production very quickly with the Johnson & Johnson, like our flu shots. And that's what's the most impressive thing.
Okay.
It's harder to make the first 2. That's
Right.
the problem, and to manufacture.
Next question is, can you get the vaccine outside of our home state of Pennsylvania?
If you're in the mafia.
Okay.
Other than that, I don't think so.
Okay, next question. If I receive both doses of the COVID-19 vaccine, do I have to quarantine if I'm exposed to someone with the coronavirus?
I would say no.
Okay. Next question is, what is the risk of my child being infected with the coronavirus?
Actually, the risk is very low. We've seen that across the board. Kids don't really transmit it very well. That's why we think schools should be opened and slowly. And the funny thing is, you look at Bangor, they've really had a minimal amount of cases here.
Yeah.
You know, some of the other school districts towards Philly haven't been open, and I think it's a disservice to our kids.
Yep. Okay. Is there an at-home testing kit for the coronavirus? And if so, what do you recommend?
Well, there is a couple different ones that you can buy. The problem with all of those tests are not the PCR test. They're just an antigen test. And an antigen test, you can test negative one day, but your PCR will be positive. And that's really the flaws of those.
Okay. Next question is, will I be protected from seasonal allergies if I wear a mask?
No.
Okay. Well, Doc, I want to thank you once again for being here and all your time.